I'm Edgar Rodríguez. I'm doctor of University Ana G. Méndez, Gurabo campus. I'm doctor in business administration. With my concentration is human resources. I will have 34 years in the human resources field. I'm a president for a human resources firm in Puerto Rico with a bunch of great clients, internationals and local ones, and clients in the mainland. I love that the word of mainland. I always love that word.
I love it. I love it.
And then I teach in the university in the graduate and subgraduate program. And then we are more than glad to be with GTC today.
Beautiful. We're very proud to have 𝐏𝐚𝐠𝐞𝐬 Mendes present this webinar every month on different topics. And it's a great resource of information for business people, all the great things that 𝐏𝐚𝐠𝐞𝐬 Mendes does to help business people, entrepreneurs all over the world, because we have our global outreach. So it's a beautiful partnership to have you with us, and we're very honored. And it's going to be a very interesting subject, and I think the people would love to learn more from you and see how they can work in teams.
Outstanding, and I'll be more than happy to have this opportunity.
Good, good, good. Do you have a PowerPoint?
Yes. Okay. Well, good afternoon, and thanks for the opportunity to share with you this presentation about how to handle the business with the difference on the generations, the reality, working with different generation in the organization. I'm Dr. Rodriguez, and I will share with you this quote. And this quote established something, and I want to read to you because it's part of what we're doing every time. And from the wisdom of experience and the curiosity of young, interplay of generation and the workplace form a symphony of innovation and the foundation of extraordinary success. What those means? Those means that, hey, we have a lot of people working with us, and we need to understand how those people interact, make an interaction in the organization. When we talk about generation, that would be something that we talk a little bit more in detail. It's not just the age. It's about the experience, about the environment, and all those things that establish the generation. Something that I want to share with you is about the global labor force, and that is an important information, because as you see in the presentation, you will see that the trend of the average age of the global workforce is 39.6 on 2025. That means that the workforce have a trend to be elder, and that create a couple of issues, things that the company need to be and consider the implication of this matter. Issues that have house, i.e. planning our workforce, our organization workforce. The retirement policies and issues than having full impact on training, having issues of benefits, those type of things the organization need to be aware and consider, because we will need to leverage and increase, develop a strategy that for the workers, the generation work together. That is very important. That is the important trends, because what we see is that for sure, everyone's in any places in the States, around the world, having problems to recruit outstanding, good candidates. And then, based on that problem, that the workforce are decreasing for the reasons that I will explain a little detail during the presentation, we have an issue to find good candidates. And at such level, we don't consider the fourth generation or the fifth generation, the baby boomers, because on some time when we said that, hey, I will hire a candidate that is 55, that happens about 10 years ago, 20 years ago, before the pandemic, when we said, well, we will consider this candidate that has 55. We said, wow, but that is an elder candidate. Based on the new consideration of Social Security, will the age increase to 70 to get the full benefits? That candidate on age 55 or 60 either, it's an outstanding candidate, because they can provide you 10, 15 years of good productivity with the experience and the knowledge. But we will talk a little bit more in detail. I'm sorry. What is a generation? Because when we talk about generations, we always thinking that people that born after the World War II, or thinking that this person born after, and we use the conflicts, the wars to determine some aspect of a generation. But I want to share with you about what is a generation based on the social science. And generation is not just the age. Generation, for sure, we consider the age, but in addition, we consider the attitudes, problem of that group of people, the ideas, and how's the people look in the life. How's I look the life, how's I look my work, my environment, my working environment, my working workplace, those type of things. Then a generation, consideration of the generation, and I want to play a couple of videos here. Let me see if I can play. If not, doesn't matter. When we refer the generation, we typically is spanning around 15 to 20 years. And that was something that when we goes back, when we talk about a baby boomer, we are talking about a person that at this time is under 60, 70 years. Then, because I don't want to talk about the silent generation, because I don't think that nobody has somebody. If you have an employee with 80, 90 years old, you are my hero. For
Yes,
sure, you are my hero.
yes, yes.
And I applaud. Uh, it's really amazing, organization that has somebody with 80, 90 years old.
Yes,
Then we have
sort
the
of,
boomers. Yes, we have the boomers. We have the Generation X, the Millennium, and the Generation Z. We have the misperception about millenniums, and the millenniums are the same like Generation Z. Millennials are the people that have the 25, 26 until the 40, 45, and the Generation Z, that is the 20, 20, the 20s generation. What I said is the new 21st century, the people that are born in the 21st century. And we need to make this distinction because on the Generation Z, it's the ones that right now are integrated in the workforce. It's the people that have 18, 20, less than 25 years old. Okay? And I will make a distinction on the issue of the age on the Generation Z. At this time, we have the boomers that we have a bunch of boomers working now because with the issue of good candidates, the organization being entitled to keep the boomers for more time. Okay? We have the Generation X that it's the ones that been in the 40, 50, and the Generation X at this time are for sure are the mid management or are in the track to go through the highest level management. The millenniums is the ones that everyone's want to hire because are the people that been in the 20s, 40s that have experience, that have its academic leverage, huh? And then will more or less giving the organization with at least 20, 25 years of productivity. And the major issues now, the Generation Z, that is the ones that everyone's have a concern about that generation. And it's amazing because on the conversation and with the research, etc., the Generation Z, different than the millennium, are the ones that have concerns with its retirement. And then it's the new ones. They are beginning now to go inside the workforce, and they are looking and they have concern because they don't want to see the same problems like its fathers that being the Generation X. The problem of its fathers that they keep the mortgages, they have the mortgages without pay now. They continue and they need to continue working. But the Generation Z, they don't want to have the same problems that its fathers, like the Generation X. That are not the same problems like the millennium. The millennium is the people that at this time is buying new cars, that it's the people that have its retirement accounts, it's looking for better opportunities to being its own bosses. They want to have its own business. Those type of looking the business in other way that is not being and an employee. They are looking to develop its own businesses.
Mm.
Then, what is the problem now? The problem now is that the spanning around the generation was 15 to 20 years. That was reduced right now. Why was reduced? Based on the fifth revolution. The fifth revolution, the digital technology revolution. And I put in these three images because for our success are events that really impact the global market, and really impact the global trends. For example, when you have Armstrong walking the moon, then that was impact the way that the rocket science and how we reduce the world, the entire world. Huh? Then you go from New York to Paris in less time, made things happen that support the logistics for him, for example. We know, and then the people of the 69 are the baby boomers.
Yes.
Okay? I'm trying to represent images that said, okay, that is the baby boomers, that they comes inside the technology, not the real technology, digital technology that we know at this time, but it begins. It begins with the color TV. It begins with some computers. The boomers are not the highest tech people, but they saw how the technology was developed. Then we have the issue of 2000, the 9/11 attack that impact all the financial environment, having issues on banks, the bubbles, problem of the bubbles, and then the generation that be impact, that it's about the millenniums that having impact, high impact on those bubbles, on the mortgages bubbles, on the dot-com bubbles, those type of things, and they leave those types of issues. And the most earlier issue, the pandemic. Why I put in the pandemic there? Because the pandemic have a direct impact in the way that we doing business now, the way that we working now, the way that people live, and how the health was highest impact. And then the generation, the latest generation, the Z, have this impact. It's looking for working in another type of environment, and we will see that right now. Then something that is important, and I mentioned, is that the generation reduce its spanning time. At this time, the generation it's measured by 7-10 years. And why that happens? Because everyone's we know and we hear from a lot of sites, plays, newspaper, radio about the artificial intelligence. And the generation Z is highest impact on the digital environment, on the digital technological environment. And they are looking the workplace in another way. Why? because a boomer or the Generation X made its report and the boss said, hey, I need this financial analysis, take all the spreadsheet, and then they spend 2-3 hours. Right now, with the artificial intelligence, you get all the spreadsheets put in an environment, and the artificial intelligence provide you a full analysis in less than 10 minutes. I am not saying that it's right or it's wrong. If the analysis is right or is wrong, I am not saying that. What I'm saying is that this generation will have a lot of time to doing a lot of duties. And then you will need to, the organizations, the managers, will need to be very aware that the Generation Z need challenge, and we will need to prepare for that type of environment, because something that you were doing before in 2-3 hours, you will have the results in 5, 10, 15 minutes. And that create a big issue, because then you have the person and you said, well, this guy is lazy. No, it's not lazy. You know what? He's doing whatever he need to do. But the major thing is he used the technology and take advantage of the technology. And that is great. But that create a big problems in the organization. And we need to be very careful about that. Then, let me, and that is the major, my major, it's not a concern, it's that I want to provide to everyone's here some integration key points that I think that will help the organization, and hopefully use those key points to improve the productivity of the organization. Are 12 points, okay? They are 12 points, and I resume those. On some ones I will be more details than in others. It's very it explains very in detail that it's easier than get information from the presentation.
Great.
Sorry. The first one is the mentoring and reverse mentoring, because everyone know what is mentoring. Mentoring is a person that help me, that have experience, that has the capabilities, the skills, and then the organization tell me, hey, for example, Mr. Otero has a lot of experience in some segments of the business. Well, if I am the beginner or I am a new hire, then the organization take advantage of the knowledge of Mr. Otero and said, hey, Mr. Otero will be the mentor of Edgar. That's good. And he will pass through part of the experience, the knowledge, and that things that will help me to be for integrating the business. And that is mentoring. That's good. But what I'm telling is the reverse mentoring. And the reverse mentoring in the generation, on the generation matter, it's a cross-generation collaboration. What those means? That we go through to the youngest and goes through back to the elders. Because we think that mentoring will be from the oldest to the youngest.
Right.
The reverse mentoring, it's not just the age, it's about if a generation Z or a millennium have a full knowledge about and have a skills to work with new technology, we decide to establish a new counting system. And we have this youngest guy that have the skills to work, and it's easier for him works with the technology.
Right.
Then I put in him like a mentor to the elder generations, and that is very important.
That's the
One of
first
the
time
most,
I've seen this, right?
I'm sorry, say it again.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen this where we have reverse mentoring, because for as long as I've been around, it's always been the older teaching the younger, but technology has moved so fast that the older people cannot keep up, and the younger people are like that. It's amazing.
Yes, and then from the management theory, we said, hey, you know what? It's not goes down the hill, it's go up the hills.
Amazing. Amazing.
And
Good,
that
good,
is
good.
very important. An
Yeah.
organization need to look in that. Flexible work arrangement, we know after the pandemic that the people wants to work on the remote or hybrid environment. And that is very important because on the earlier generations, they like to goes into the car, goes on highway, goes to the office, spends from 8 to 5, and that's good. That's great. But organization need to understand that based in the new environment with the new technologies, people wants to have some options.
Yes.
People wants work life. They want to spend time in whatever will be important, and based in the uh, in the revolution, in the digital revolution, information will be close to my hand, and I will handle information as fast as I need. And we talk about ChatGPT. This is amazing because everyone's can make, I don't know, an essay or made a report, or you asking, hey, I need, I don't know, this type of information, and putting together that being easier to understand. Because we are not talking about Google, about I don't know, a platform that looking for information. We are looking for what? That putting together and make sense. Whatever the system provide you, the system bring to you. And that is something that when we talk about remote work options, we need to understand that we have full capabilities as fast that we our mind don't set up that the that this process are so fast. And then we need to promote flexible work. Taking place that, then we need to talk a little bit more about diversity. We need to make cross functional teams. And what I said, cross functional team, I am not talking just only about age. I am talking about gender, about religious, about I don't know. The time before we saw somebody with tattoos or piercing, and we create these misconceptions
Yes.
and bias about the way the productivity of that person. And when we are talking about the Generation Z, that is more easier, that they look in the life in the ways that is open, just open mind. They are not concerned. They don't create bias. If you want to have the entire body with tattoos, that is your life. That is good.
Yes.
On the generation standpoint, it doesn't matter. They don't pass through about if you are men with men, women with women, or whatever. be on the LGBT, they don't have any concern. But what is the issue? That we have the elder generation, and we need to provide a really team diversity teams that open the way that the elders generation see the newest one and the new lifestyle. And we need that the organization understand that need to include members of different ages, of different genders, of uh, mm, difference in
Culture, culture.
cultures. That's the word. Different
That's so
cultures.
important today. We're working with
And
so many people from all over the world, and it's if we don't know how to work in those cultures, we're going to fail. Everybody has different styles.
for sure. And I need to understand that, hey, your works when I am asleep, but doesn't matter.
That's right. That's right.
And then if that is the way that we need to approach for looking and solving problems, we need to integrate everyone's on their teams.
Good.
Something that is very important is training and development. And I I put in a signature there because as an academic, we need to understand, and the companies need to understand that they 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 been they've been the organization need to provide really training for each generation. What is the problem? The problem is that an elder generation do not have the capabilities. And let me make a key put in a stop here. I don't say that all the boomers generation do not have the capabilities and do not have the skills to work with the new technologies. I don't say that. I I know a lot of people. I know that a lot of people that have the full capabilities that being in age 70s, 75, 80s, that working easier with technology, easier than myself, or easier than than the generation Z. But it's not the standard. Okay? And the problem is then we need to understand when we decide to develop, we decide to make new capabilities, new technologies, when we decide to make changes in our organization, those changes need to come with a real training and development program.
Yes.
Because if you say to, I don't know, a person that is, hey, 60, hey, you know what? Today we made the orders in paper, or we made the orders on such this or that technology. And then right now we will use tablet
Smartphone.
or an iPhone or whatever will be your communication system, and then you go inside and take the orders on your palm. Then you need to ensure that the person develop the skills and use the technology in the right way. We goes back to reverse mentoring. And that is the importance of the reverse mentoring because you need to benefit to the elders employee to make up skills in the digital technologies. That's why I put in there because no everyone's do not learn as fast that everyone's. Maybe I have the capabilities to work with this platform, but I don't understand this other. I don't know what is AI. Nobody showed me, and
Right.
nobody take the time to develop myself in something that will help me to achieve with the works, with the job, with the duties that you expected that happens.
Very good.
Then ERGs, that is again support employees on the develop and, and provide age diversity, the diversity and inclusion training that, as I explained before, hey, keep out the bias, the stereotypes, keep out, make people inclusive, rising people, then hey, you can work with anybody in any place, with any culture. Corporate social responsibility, and that is important.
Very important.
Very important because what we see is that uh, when we talk about corporate responsibility, people think that it goes through the elders generations. And then what we need to propose in the organization to make subjects and identify really organization and that organization that been identified with all the generations. And that is important because if we're looking for corporate responsibility, we need to create sense. The propose that we choose that organization or develop this initiative will take care of everyone's in the organization. And the last one's knowledge sharing platform. It's important that everyone's understand the transfer the transfers of knowledge and the implement digital platform in occasion create and did this issue that go back to me in the wrong direction. That what I'm trying to explain is that we don't need to go to the latest technology if we are not ensured that everyone's have the capabilities and the knowledge of the 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 platform the platform that we use and acknowledge that everyone's understand the platform that the company use because we want the organization in occasion wants to moving forward with the technology. Hey, the technology is version 5th. We will move to version 5th. And we need to be and trying to identify and provide full acknowledge of the people that have the capabilities and handle the platform. That is what we are talking about, knowledge sharing platform. I make a note there because uh, fostering a more productivity and harmonious work environment. And that is something that we need to promote when we are talking to putting together the generations work together. It's harmonious. It's what we are looking for because we know about productivity. Everyone's talk about productivity. Everyone wants that the companies and organization be productivity. But we need to fostering that and create an environment harmonious. It's important for have a really work environment. Then What will happen in the future? Our work. If we saw that line goes, and it's nice, we see that it will goes and goes and goes up, goes up, goes up. But if you saw the line goes like a roller coaster in the last decade. And what is the problem now? The problem now is that I have a workforce that goes earlier, that we have new technology and new platforms that will not need a lot of workforce.
That's
But,
right.
but my line on the last decade, it's like a roller coaster. And it's a roller coaster with a workforce that goes earlier, with a new platform, with a new technologies, with the problems that my generations, I have boomers, I have X that do not have full domain of the platform. Well, we will have a big issue here,
Big.
and a big issue. And what will happen? This is my recommendations because we know the problem. We know about platform, we know about elders, we know about the integration. Well, I made some action items, some action points that I can recommend to organizations. The first one is promote intergenerational communication. We need to develop team buildings process. We need that the people full understand and enhance the communication. We need that this person that is earlier can talk with the youngest one. I remember this picture being turned with, I think this is the De Niro. The guy, it's a boomer, and looking for goes in this new work environment. The workforce are youngest people, 20s, 30, and he been on the 60s, 60s, 70s. And what's amazing because the movie show you how the youngest employees made a full interaction with the experience and the way that this person, De Niro, was dressing. He goes with shirt. He was with jacket. He
Yep.
was with his attack office bag. He made and what's amazing. I invite you to visit that have a really idea how's the intergeneration communication been in place when we have the capabilities and really we want that it happens. Then we have encouraged reverse mentoring that I explained, the flexible work arrangement, the subject about stereotypes and bias, the identification and how we can handle this and how we can train people to reduce the produce and promote more inclusive, emphasize in team diversity. That is very important.
Yes.
Because what we're looking with the integration of generation is not just that my experience, my knowledge, my creativity, and I can be in a decision making with other way to thinking about a problem. And that is what the diversity looking in the integration of generation. That everyone can put in place something to achieve and resolve issues. The recognize and utilize experience, for sure. What I want to get knowledge sharing in the better way, what everyone can put in the table, putting under the table. What those value, what those experience can provide me, provide the organization, and looking problems in other way. Training and professional development, as I mentioned, we want to looking for the roles and the relevant ones. We want that people get new skills and the flexible retirement policies. That is the major issue now. That is the major issue because we want the people to keep in the organization. The more time it can happen. Because with a reduction of workforce, the problem to hire great candidates, what we need to establish is not the same way, the same rules for the retirement policies. We need to develop and flexible the policies for retirement. The people wants to work for more time, and we need to encourage the people to maintain to be in there in the organization and provide all the experience that they can have, because we are talking about technology, etc. But you will never replace a person with technology. That will not happen. The feelings, the sense, it will never, well, right now, maybe in, I don't know, 20, 30 years, maybe the machines, the computer will feeling as we, I don't know, develop, I don't know, algorithm that develop, I don't know, maybe the intelligence, the artificial intelligence to feeling like a person. Maybe it can happen. But right now, it's not arising in the next decade or 20 years. It will not happen. And then what we are looking and what we need to put in the generation works is that makes the transition in the right and a smooth way.
Well, this is a very powerful information. If you can summarize, we're running out of time now, but if you can do a quick summary, that would be fantastic.
Yes, for sure. I think that the managers, the managers in the organization need to be careful, need to look in the capabilities of the teams, trying to identify and promote the real environment for the team players. We need to develop strategies to innovate the way of the workplace. That is the most important thing. Everyone wants the youngest, but we can forget that you can have all the technology of the new platform, the knowledge, etc. But we need to keep in our organization the experience. And I invite organizations to keep the experience as well as we looking to promote innovation and bring new platform, new technologies, new digital technologies, to make the job, the duties more easier. But please do not forget that the experience will never, we need to keep that experience in our workplace.
I think that you said it all right there about experience, because a lot of wisdom does not come from knowledge, it comes from experience. So if you're looking for wise uh, team members, managers, they're going to have a big impact on the young people, because they're just beginning to start in the workplace. So they don't have the experience, the wisdom, and have not gone through a lot of the things that the more experienced people have. So it's a combination and a balance that we have to find in the corporations today. It's not easy. We've never been faced with this. The best term to me today was reverse mentoring. I don't remember any time in history where we had the elder people go to the young people asking for advice. I have never seen that. But it is so important to do that today, because they're the ones that are very able with technology, because they grew up playing with the video games and playing with computers, and the older people just didn't have that experience. So now it's a fusion of the young, knowledgeable people with the older, experienced people coming together and making the whole system work. What a powerful presentation. You gave so much information. It's really going to make everybody think.
I appreciate, remember something about skilling and reskilling, because that is something that is important, because right now we need to reskilling our resources,
Yes.
and those reskillings take place in the generations. And with the generations that we identify that can be reskilling. And maybe that will be another subject that we can talk a little bit
Oh, absolutely.
about reskilling.
This is so important right now in this time in history, that you're going to be very popular to come back with more information and data to help corporations rethink of how they're going to move forward from here. It's not
Sure.
uh, it's not the same game as before. It's a whole different game, and you got to be ready.
Well, I appreciate. Thank you for your time. Uh, Again, it's amazing, and really, I've been more than happy to have this time with the GTC. And
Yes, yes.
hopefully everything continue the development of the organization. And
Well,
nice
we're
to
very
talk to
proud.
you a little bit.
No, we appreciate you so much and the great work that you're doing. And thank you again to Energy Mendes University for being a host and presenter of the Square webinars for years. And you're just one of the wonderful tools that the university has to help people adapt to the new age. So we appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and we will invite you again.
Thank you. Have a nice one.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.